The email was so casual, so brutally simple it felt like a physical blow. Thank you for your offer. After careful consideration, I have decided to decline this opportunity. Sincerely, Alex Carter. I read it over and over sitting in my dad's old truck in the high school parking lot. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold my phone. It was a response to a full-ride scholarship offer from Stanford. An offer for me. But I'd never sent this email. The deadline to accept had passed 2 days ago. I'd called the coach, my voice frantic. I never declined. There has to be a mistake. His tone was cold, impatient. Mr. Carter, we received your email. The spot has been filled. We've moved on. Good luck. I'd raced to the school's computer lab, my heart hammering against my ribs. The login history showed it. Someone had logged into my email from that very lab during 6th period on the final day. The day the scholarship died. And I knew. I knew with a sick, chilling certainty who it was. Chase Winslow. My tennis rival since we were 12. The only person who was as obsessed with Stanford's tennis program as I was. The one who always finished second to me. Always. I confronted him after practice. He was leaning against his shiny new BMW, a car his parents had bought him as a pre-congratulations gift for the scholarship he was sure he'd get. "Why, Chase?" was all I could manage to say. He didn't even bother to deny it. He just smiled, a slow, venomous smirk that didn't reach his eyes. "They only take one player from our region, Alex. You knew that. It was you or me. And let's be honest, my family, we need this. Your dad can just fix another transmission to pay your way, right?" He got in his car and drove away. He'd already won. Stanford had offered him the other full-ride spot just hours after my declination came through. He'd taken my future and worn it like a new jacket. I was left with nothing. No plan B, no money for college. Just a roaring emptiness where my future was supposed to be. Hi, I'm Alex Carter. And that was the day I learned that some people don't just want to win. They need to make sure you lose. Today, I'm going to tell you how I spent 10 years building a new future. Not for me, but for the sole purpose of tearing his down. The first year was the darkest. I worked construction with my dad, my hands becoming raw and calloused instead of holding a tennis racket. Every ache, every blister was a reminder of Chase. I saw his face in the sports section of the newspaper. Local phenom Chase Winslow shines at Stanford. I quit tennis. Cold turkey. I couldn't even look at a court. But you can't kill an obsession that easily. It just finds a new shape. Mine became a quiet, burning study of the game itself. While Chase was playing under the California sun, I was in my bedroom, consuming match footage, sports science journals, and biomechanics textbooks. I wasn't learning how to play anymore. I was learning how the machine worked, how to build it, and how to break it. I started coaching at the local community center. Kids who couldn't afford fancy clubs. I developed a system, a unique, almost counterintuitive method that focused on mental fortitude and kinetic efficiency over brute strength. My players started winning. A lot. I built a reputation online under a pseudonym, The Architect. I never showed my face. My marketing was word of mouth and a cryptic website. I became a ghost in the tennis world. A myth. The most sought-after, devastatingly expensive private coach nobody had ever seen. My clients were the children of CEOs, Hollywood actors, and yes, professional athletes looking for an edge. They paid my insane fees because I delivered results. I was the secret weapon, and I watched Chase. I followed his mediocre pro career. He was decent. A journeyman. He had a powerful serve but a pathetic backhand and the strategic depth of a puddle. He was arrogant, entitled, and universally disliked on the tour. He'd peaked in college. Then it happened. He qualified for the North American Open, a major tournament. It was his last best shot at relevance. And he was desperate. I got the email from his agent. The subject line was almost too perfect. Consultation request for Chase Winslow. The message was obsequious, flattering. Mr. Winslow has heard of your unparalleled methods and is seeking your expertise for an intensive, last-minute training block before the NAO. Money is no object. I smiled for the first time in a decade. A cold, thin smile. I replied with a single sentence. My rate is $5,000 per hour. 10-hour minimum. Wire the deposit. He paid it without hesitation. The training took place at a private, soundproofed court I rented under my company's name. I wore a tracksuit, a cap pulled low, and sunglasses. My voice was softer, my cadence different. He never suspected a thing. For 2 weeks, I poured everything I knew into him. But I wasn't fixing his flaws. I was amplifying them. Your backhand is your secret weapon, Chase. I'd say in a calm, convincing tone. It's unorthodox, but that's what makes it dangerous. We need to maximize its power, not change it. I had him over-rotating his shoulders, locking his wrist, turning his already weak shot into a predictable, error-prone mess. Your first serve is magnificent, I told him. Focus on power, always power. The percentage play is for players who doubt themselves. I fed his ego and starved his strategy. I built up the worst parts of his game and called them strengths. He ate it up. He was so arrogant, so convinced of his own innate genius, that he never questioned why the legendary architect was telling him to do everything wrong. The day of his first-round match arrived. It was a blisteringly hot day. I sat in the stands, anonymous in the crowd, watching. It was a massacre, a humiliation. His first serve was powerful, but it missed. Again and again. Double fault after double fault. His backhand was a joke. Loopy, slow, and sitting up for his opponent to smash winner after winner. He lost 6-1, 6-0. It was over in under an hour. The crowd was silent, then began to boo. He'd been touted as a dark horse, and he'd tripped out of the gate and broken his neck. He threw his racket, screamed at his box, and stormed off the court toward the tunnel. A picture of petulant fury. That's when I made my move. I met him just outside the player's entrance. He was sweating, red-faced, tearing at his wrist tape. "You!" he snarled, seeing me. "What was that?" "Your system is a fraud. I want my money back." I slowly took off my cap and sunglasses. He stared. The rage on his face morphed into confusion, then dawning, horrific recognition. The years fell away from my face in his eyes. "Alex? Carter? What the hell is this?" "A lesson, Chase," I said, my voice calm and clear. "A decade in the making." A sports reporter, smelling blood in the water, rushed over with a cameraman. "Chase! Chase! What happened out there?" "A stunning loss." Chase was sputtering, pointing a trembling finger at me. This man sabotaged me. He's a fraud." I turned to the camera, a small, cold smile on my face. "My name isn't the architect. It's Alex Carter, and I didn't sabotage him. I just gave him exactly what he paid for, a reflection of his own game. No more, no less." The reporter's eyes went wide. This was a story she hadn't expected. "But why?" she asked, shoving the microphone in my face. "Because 10 years ago, Chase Winslow hacked my email and stole a full-ride scholarship to Stanford from me." I reached into my jacket and pulled out a folded piece of paper, a printout of the email log from the high school computer lab, the record of his login from that day. I held it up for the camera. He thought he'd erased my future. I just returned the favor. The look on his face, the sheer, utter collapse of his entire world, was more satisfying than any trophy. The camera lights flashed, capturing his humiliation for the world to see. I turned and walked away, leaving him there to be devoured by the media storm I'd just unleashed. I didn't look back. The scholarship money didn't matter anymore. The revenge was the only prize I'd ever wanted. So, I have to ask, if someone stole your future, would you spend a decade building a new one just for the chance to look them in the eye and show them that everything they have was built on a lie you were finally ready to tell?